on, there will be harmony at the top of the state of the Central African Republic, because we have one objective: everyone. Get the country out of this rut. We will soon be meeting with the armed groups, former rebels and new militia forces, as well as what remains of the regular army in a bid to ease the tension. Since December, when the French military intervention began, 2,000 people have lost their lives and some 1 million had to flee their homes. Celebrations of the third anniversary of the uprising, which toppled Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak, turned into demonstrations in support of General al-Sisi, the country's new strongman, like here at Tahrir Square. At the same time, gatherings of the Muslim Brotherhood were violently suppressed. In 24 hours of violence, 49 people died and more than 1,000 were arrested. On Sunday, the interim president announced on television that presidential elections would be held within 3 months. Surrounded by hundreds of supporters, prominent political figures who resigned from the president's party in Burkina Faso formed a new party in Ouagadougou on Saturday. It's called the MPP, the People's Movement for Progress. The dissidents, former mayors, ministers and men who were once in circles close to President Blaise Compaoré, opposed the modification of Article 37 in the Constitution. The move would allow President Compaoré, who has been in power for 26 years, to run for another term.
Thousands of protesters in Ukraine have laid siege to government buildings in the capital Kiev. This follows President Viktor Yanukovych's offer of the post of Prime Minister to the leader of the opposition, which was flatly rejected by demonstrators who are calling for early elections. Rival factions in the Syrian conflict meeting in Switzerland are expected to discuss the possibilities of opening up humanitarian corridors in the besieged city of Homs. This comes after the two sides met face-to-face yesterday for the first time since the conflict began 3 years ago. We have more of these and other stories in the CFI report.
Protesters laid siege to a building in central Kiev used as a base by security forces as the Ukrainian capital remains tense. Opposition leaders say they will pursue their movement despite concessions granted by the authorities. Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych on Saturday offered opposition leader Arseniy Yatsenyuk the post of Prime Minister. He also proposed to change the constitution, but the opposition say they want a return to the constitution of 2004 and a new presidential election this year. Talks between the Syrian regime and the opposition continued on Sunday in Geneva. The day's discussions were centered on humanitarian issues. The UN mediator said an agreement had been reached to send aid convoys to the city of Homs, which has been besieged by government forces for the past year and a half. The opposition says it now wants to discuss prisoner releases. The two sides are meeting in the biggest diplomatic push yet to stem Syria's bloodshed after nearly 3 years of civil war. A Taliban suicide bomber blew himself up in Kabul Sunday, killing 4 people, including 2 soldiers, and injuring 22. The attacker blew himself up near a bus that was transporting Defense Ministry employees. This latest attack on the Afghan capital comes in the final year of NATO combat operations. 58,000 NATO troops are due to leave the country by the end of the year. France no longer has a First Lady. French President François Hollande announced officially on Saturday that he will no longer be sharing his life with his partner, Valérie Trierweiler. Trierweiler will undertake her last mission as France's First Lady when she leaves for India Sunday on a trip organized by a humanitarian organization. The separation comes after recent revelations that the president was having an affair with a French actress.
Well, latest report coming out of Switzerland say the two parties have agreed to provide safe passage for civilians, mostly desperate women and children, out of the battered city of Homs. The trial has begun in South Africa of 3 men accused of plotting to kill Rwandan dissidents in the country. The 2 Rwandans and a Tanzanian are believed to have been recruited and paid by Rwandan President Paul Kagame to kill his critics. As we hear in this CFI report, the attempted murder of Rwandan dissidents have strained relations between the two countries. We apologize for that poor sound quality. We now take our second break.
Of a property partner. Think Universal Properties. Universal Properties is the leading real estate developing agent in the Gambia. Universal Properties prides itself with experience in the property business. Our properties are well located in areas such as Brufut, Sukuta, Lamin Kerawan and Tanji, close to the Camel Safari and opposite the river. The properties have all access to good road networks, electricity supply and water. Our payment terms are flexible and prices affordable.
This is Universal Properties. We urge all Gambians to come on board. We are reliable, reasonable and cheap because we want to make home affordable to every Gambian.
Visit Universal Properties today on FIB building along the Keraba Avenue. Universal Properties, the most experienced real estate company in the Gambia.
And before we take leave of you, a quick reminder of the day's top stories. The Vice President, Dr. Aissatou Njie Sedi, has joined world leaders and other experts from across the globe for the Abu Dhabi Sustainable Week. The latest round of violent clashes gripping Egypt has left 49 pro-Morsi supporters killed. Embattled Ukrainian President Viktor Yanukovych has offered leading opposition figure, former boxer Vitaly Klitschko, the position of Prime Minister to diffuse tension in the streets of Kiev. And serious warring factions have agreed to the opening of the humanitarian borders of Homs as peace talks between the two parties continue in Switzerland. And that brings us all to the end of this news. Thanks for the pleasure of your company.
There. The show on demand which you've been waiting for is finally here. Tech-Biz Inside is a show designed by Panaflix Media in partnership with Grts to address the many questions you, the viewers and potential investors, have been asking. The show will look at the evolution of technology over the years and how it affects the way we live. We'll review and find out the processes of locally made products every week, and we'll be in the market for you every week to find out what's trending now, useful market prices, currency market updates, and more. We'll also interview a successful entrepreneur every week whose story would be a trigger to you, the youth who haven't chosen a career path, to act now. But that's not all. There's Gambia Shopper for your weekly shopping advice. Call for help to address any of your tech-related problems. Tech News bringing you the updates of the latest technology news. The Natural Solution, which unveils the secret behind natural juice in human health, and much more. Interestingly, the show is everywhere you go. You can watch it on TV, on your mobile, tablet, or even on your computer in high definition.